you so much for choosing to spend the hour with us. How to stay calm in the midst of crisis, and we clearly are in the midst of crisis. I want to reiterate, in Chinese, the word crisis is made out of two characters. And those two characters mean danger and opportunity. Wei ji or ngai gei in Cantonese. Ngai means danger, ngai him, and opportunity is gei wei. So in any moment when we feel that we are in crisis, it's because we feel that danger is impending. In Taoism or Chinese philosophy, there is no light without darkness. There is no beauty without ugliness. So there's always a balance of the light and the dark so that we are in a place of tranquility. So when we're talking about crisis, we are feeling like something big is going to happen. And we feel scared because it feels like impending danger. We are humans, we're wired to survive like most animals. We are actually not thinking. It defaults to our reptilian brain that we are sensing danger. So we are now in a heightened sensibility to things so that we're ready to run or fight, the danger part. But if we subscribe only to fear and invest all our energy into fear and being scared of what might happen, we are in a constant state of anxiety. And last two times you've seen me put up this picture of energy is energy. Energy is what fuels how we feel. It makes us human. If we have no emotions, we're nothing but a mass of protoplasm. What makes us different from animals? At least we like to think, because we know how to feel. We just don't know how animals feel and how they communicate how they feel. Actually, we don't know how to communicate how we feel. So this whole idea of sensing danger is our sense of wanting to survive. The opposite to that, so here's the danger part of the word crisis. The other part is the opportunity to be creative. As we look in human history, out of disaster, something new technology, new way of doing things happen. Think about cholera. Think about the Black Plague hundreds of years ago. How did people survive that without the technology that we have today? How did they survive that? Well, many people just simply died, and they're not here to tell us. But yet we know the human race continued. We are here today because something good must have happened, that we've learned how to survive, and we are the descendants of survivors of disasters past that we don't even know about. So I'd like to today focus more on what are the opportunities that evolve as a matter of crisis. We feel scared because of what we don't know. I mean, just look at current situation. Even though we know how the virus makes its copies in our body, even though we know how it is transmitted, we have people protesting in the streets to stay at home, to be safe. That makes sense, does it? Are we crazy or what? We know that if we don't do social distancing and we don't follow things that we know can keep us safe, we still want to open our businesses. We still want to protest the lockdown. We still want to deny the fact that there are facts to show you this is how it's transmitted. And people still want to do the opposite. So what drives us to do things that don't make sense? There's a 4-letter F word, right? We know what it is fear. So if you think about the fear of not having money is greater than the fear of dying. Because dying is a certainty. We know everybody has to die. We know what death looks like. We sort of know. But we don't know what life is without a job, without money. That fear is greater, and it drives us to do things that don't make any sense. So we think about it. We're living in dangerous times. We actually even know what the danger is, right? It's just like us being in the jungle. We cross the river, we'll be walking into dangerous grounds with animals ready to eat us for dinner. But staying here and not knowing what's going to kill us is more scary than going across the river and facing the impending death. It doesn't make any sense. All of us have this bundle of energy that makes us human. This piece I call chi. And we can choose how to invest that energy in fear or in love. Everything that makes us feel not good has to come from a place of fear, and everything that feels good has to come from a place of love. Look at a little baby. You look at the baby, you smile at the baby. Unless the baby is dead, it will smile back at you. We are wired to respond in a natural way, and yet as we grow up, we are taught to be scared. Well, just because a stranger smiles at you doesn't mean you have to smile back, right? So let's bring ourselves back. In any situation, if we let fear take over us, you're going to be a very scared person, and you're going to do things that may not be in your best interest. And also, if we imagine more fears in the future, and we bring all those fears to put into the present moment of T0, I call it, and now we become overwhelmed because our little space here is being completely overflowing with fear. Well, you know, if I don't go to work, I won't have any money. That's our negative country western song. I'm going to lose my house, lose my dog, lose my gun, lose my wife, and I'll be the homeless person in the street because nobody loves me. So our greatest fear is the fear of being unwanted, being unloved. And that is why today, because of the social distancing, many people feel disconnected. So how do we stay calm? Number one, I want to put it out there that social distancing is a physical plane. Social disconnecting is an emotional plane. We can be socially distanced physically without being socially disconnected. Many people are freaking out because they're not seeing their neighbors. But we have to become creative and find ways of reaching out so that we don't feel socially disconnected. You know, back in the days, some of you may be about my age, remember the days when we had pen pals. Back in the 70s, I remembered I was in love with my high school friend and I went away to school in England. I wrote those little aerograms, at least 3 a day we wrote to each other. And then we have to wait a couple weeks before we get a response to a question I may ask, right? It takes 7 days for the letter to get to Malaysia. And then even if the person responds immediately, it takes another 7 days to come back to me. And you know what? It might have been a very good thing, because if I was angry at him in 14 days, I wouldn't have remembered what I was angry about. So we look at our current situation, we have instant connection or instant disconnection. We are shortening our response time, and it's shorter and shorter and shorter, so we can't respond, we react. And so we create a lot more crisis amongst us. Sometimes if we are upset about something, if you sleep on it, in 24 hours, it might look very different. So another problem we have in danger is to take that danger feeling of fear and project it into the future and create more fear. And what's worse, we bring it all forward into the present moment, and that presents too much for us to chew. Can't swallow the elephant in one gulp. You'll get indigestion. So 2 things I want to reiterate. One is life is what happens when we have other plans. How many of us live perfect lives? I used to own a cooking school and I would teach cooking classes. And some students are very diligent about looking at the instructions I have written for them, the recipe. I said, please put that away. Unless you have a perfect kitchen at home, that everything is going to work perfectly. All the equipment, everything is perfect. All you need is to take the recipe home and follow it. But I say you're here in class today is because I want to show you what happens when your kitchen is imperfect. You already have the recipe to take home. Today I'm going to show you what happens if halfway during the stir fry your stove quits on you. What are you going to do? What happens if suddenly you run out of an ingredient? So when I teach cooking, I teach improvisation. I say we learn the basic things. So one of the things I learned that is really helpful for me is when all life is going crazy, as I have learned that life is what happens when you have other plans. So when plan A doesn't work, you better have plan B or C in your pocket somewhere. And how do we do that? We do that by preparation. I think in the last session I talked about when I lived in the country, you see a deer run across the road, you run over the deer, but you better be fast enough to run over it and not let it run over you. So it's a matter of, do I kill the animal in front of me or do I leave my children without a mother? So that's how I train myself in certain situations. What is the choice? Now looking at this whole big picture, crisis, okay. Number 1, if we can stop all this craziness, just take a moment and breathe. When we're scared, we forget to breathe and we deprive our brains of oxygen. And then fear takes over. When the train is running wild in the wrong direction, before we can redirect the train, we have to first stop the train. So the first step is to take a moment and be quiet. Then we want to kind of lay out all these many things you have to juggle and do what some people will call it critical path analysis. You look at what is the most critical thing to deal with first, prioritize. So we talked about the emergency room doctor. Somebody presents with broken bones but is not breathing. It is obvious what you want to do first, but how did we know that? How did we didn't go for training for that. How did we know that? Because something in us knows we're not breathing. It doesn't matter if you fix the bones, he'll be a very pretty corpse. Right? It's to us common sense, but somehow, someplace, sometime, we had that knowledge base to know that if somebody is not breathing, you don't go treat his broken leg first. We knew that. How did we know that? Somewhere, someplace we know that. So one of the things that's really helpful is you train yourself when it is not a critical moment to make some critical choices. You know who to choose. I used to teach classes in ethics, and I said, okay, so here's something. You're on the bridge. Here's your wife or your husband and your child and your mother. They're all 3 being washed down the river, and you can only pull one person out at a time. Who are you going to pull out first? I'm not going to give you the answer to that. You have to find the answer to that. Not just like the Titanic, right? You have so many lifeboats. You put all the children and women in there first because it's the moral or ethical thing to do. And if you did, the first lifeboat set there with women and children who don't know how to handle it will all be the first to die. So you're really sending them to die, but we don't think about that. So there are many choices that we may take some time to tell ourselves what to say yes to, so you can say no to things that don't fit. And also know that we can only handle one thing at a time. This multitasking thing is overrated. If you try to be a blender and a food processor, it doesn't work. I've thrown away some machines like that try to be two things and they do neither job well. If I want a blender, I buy a blender. If I want a food processor, I buy a food processor. Coming back to how do we stay calm? All right, we stay calm, number one, by freezing time. Don't jump into tomorrow. Don't jump into the next hour. Deal with this moment, because that's all you got. What do I do now is the question to ask. It's not what do I do tomorrow, it's what do I do now, because I can only deal with one thing at a time. If you make a good decision now, tomorrow will take care of itself. And we need to know why are we making this choice today is because you've thought it through. You make a choice that's important and urgent at the first moment you make that decision, right? So for example, if deep inside, you know, for the continuance of the human race to stop rampant infection of the population, one small thing you can do is to stay home. If you know that to be true and you act against it out of fear, then that is not a good choice. If everybody makes a bad choice altogether all at once, it spells disaster. So stay calm, stay still for a moment and put some oxygen to your brain and be quiet. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday is gone. Think about at this moment, what is most helpful. It is most helpful to you when you are aligned. You don't have energy here, you don't have energy there, you don't have energy everywhere. You know, I remember the diagram I saw in my chemistry book describing Brownian movement. I don't know how that came into my brain at this moment, but it's random. What do you call that? Entropy. We want to stay still and freeze that moment. The three parts that I'm doing now is to teach you how to stay inside yourself and be calm. I think this week I had a conversation with my niece Cindy, and she said she was in a place where she felt a moment of anxiety, and she stayed quiet and did the chant of Om Mani Padme Hum 108 times, right? And you got to the 8th set of 9, and she started to feel calm. Sometimes with a lot of practice, you can do it within the first 10 seconds. Sometimes it might take you 10 minutes, but the more you practice, the shorter that response time becomes. And very soon we've trained ourselves how to remain calm in this moment of crisis. Now, Gilbert is not here this morning. He's at the conference, but Gilbert is the commander of a hostage negotiation squad in Hong Kong. And he has to deal with, I think the second time he was not here because he spent 10 hours with his negotiation team to talk someone out of jumping off the edge of a building. And I've been there with him for 5 hours in Hong Kong watching his team work to talk somebody out of jumping off a building. Now, how do you do that? You do that by staying calm. I worked with Gilbert many years ago when a professor from Taiwan had created this software linked to a laptop, and you see the graphic of his brain waves, and I taught him how to get to that moment of calm, and it got shorter and shorter and shorter. As a negotiator, if you're not calm, nobody else would be calm. It's critical that you come in to be a model of calm so that the person you're trying to help is going to stay calm. So the most important part about stay calm is about being aligned with yourself. And if you believe there's a God, is you come home because God is at home within you. And how do you connect with God. We'll each have to find our own path. But I think it is hard to talk to God in a place where everybody's screaming. And yet you can still be calm. Last night I watched a little movie about this little girl. She's probably about 7 or 8. And her mother had died. And she wanted to know if there was a God. Because she says, if there is no God, and she happened to ask a person who was very obviously atheist. And she says, and so this older lady asked her, why do you want to know where God is? She says, I need to know if there's a God. Because if there's no God, there's no heaven. If there's no heaven, I don't know where my mother is. She found God in the gas tank of a motorcycle. So this lady drove a motorcycle with a sidecar. And when they finally got home, she said, I didn't want to alarm you. We were out of gas 40 miles ago. And when she started the motorcycle to go home, the motorcycle won't start because there's not a bit of gas. And so the little girl said, you mean we ran on fumes for the last 40 miles? And all of a sudden, this little girl smiled and she says, I know where God is. God's in the gas tank. What a wonderful way to find God. So whatever religion you subscribe to, the minute you get quiet and be in yourself, that's where you find God. And it comes in all kinds of settings and language and religions, whatever you subscribe to. I think if you spend a moment to look in your life, where have you found God? You would have many moments to explain. I mean, I remember when my daughter was a little girl, she came back from nursery school with a drawing. You know how little kids do stick drawings, and I said, what is this drawing? And Ming said to me, I just drew a picture of God. This is what God looks like to me. Isn't that amazing? We all know how to find God. So the staying calm in the moment of crisis, in the midst of crisis, is that no matter how noisy it is out there, if you go inside, it's always quiet. No matter how noisy it is out there, if you go inside, it's always quiet. And if we were just to spend a moment to shut up, God will speak to us. Right, we're too busy with our mouth chattering. Stop chattering, be quiet, go inside, and you will find God within you. So how do we stay calm? Number one, stop it. Whatever crazy things you're doing, and I see Cindy nodding her head, whatever crazy things you're thinking about or doing, just stop it. And then be quiet. In the first part, I taught you how to breathe to the count of 10, breathe in and breathe out to the count of 10 with your eyes open. Most people think to meditate, I have to close my eyes, sit in the lotus position or tie myself in a knot. You don't have to do that. We just have to be quiet. Stop it. Whatever craziness, stop it. It takes more effort to do this with your eyes open. Focus on something across from the wall and count slowly to 10 in your inhale. And then hold for a second if you like. And then as you exhale, exhale to the count of 10. Some people say, why can't I just count to 3? Why can't I just count to 1? Why can't I just count to 2? Of course you can. But if you're not a well-practiced person in doing this, it takes at least to 10 before you can quiet your monkey brain. Stop the chattering. So as you count slowly, and by the time you get to 5, you're really aware that you're counting and not having your monkey brain think about what I should buy. Should I go and buy more toilet paper or make a cupcake that looks like toilet paper? People are getting very creative in all this stuff, right? But just count to 10. Do nothing else, right? As you exhale, count backwards from 10 to 1. Those of us who are hypnotherapists, you know what that is? That's your trance induction. As you count backwards from 10 to 1, you're going deeper, 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 deeper. You are relaxing. You're paying attention to your sound of your own counting. You're shutting out the world. What is hypnosis? But nothing but mono-ideation. You only focus on one thing and one thing alone. So now you have, from breathing in, just 3 breaths. I guarantee you, if you follow simple instructions and do the 3 breaths, you'll find yourself in a very calm space already. And on the 3rd breath, I give you what you're dying to do. Close your eyes. You're like, when am I going to close my eyes? When's she going to tell me to close my eyes? Well, I said, you can't do it in the 1st breath. Your brain is too busy chattering. And on the 2nd breath, you're starting to feel relaxed. And then on the 3rd breath, if you did the first 2 breaths correctly, it becomes a natural consequence. You're already in a state of calm. Like those of us who are hypnotherapists know that for many first-time clients, we take them to their sacred space. This is your sacred space, where you feel peaceful and calm, and you are aware of your own breathing. I'm breathing in deliberately, I'm breathing out deliberately, and then you are already in alpha consciousness. You didn't know this is a class in hypnosis, right? And then what happens? Now that you're in your sacred space, you're in your body, right? And you feel that moment of calm. Then what do? You're getting too comfortable, right? I tell you to leave your body. So now you collect that mass of conscious energy and you're able to project it outside your physical form. And I want you to be outside your physical form and look at your body standing there or sitting there. What happens is, number 2, you've learned to be a witness to your own consciousness. I want you to project your consciousness outside of your body, turn around and be aware of yourself. Be a witness to yourself. And in that moment, you realize that you are more than one body. You have a physical body and you have a spiritual body. First, you discover yourself, and now you're witnessing yourself, and you say, okay, shake hands with each other. Now I'm coming back. So I want you to be able to bring your consciousness back into this body and be able to integrate that and appreciate that you are more than your body. That's a very powerful 3-part way to learn. That to me is a very basic form of meditation. Is that we've learned to shut down the chattering monkeys. We've learned to go into that inner quiet space where God can speak to you. And when you come back into your body after witnessing that, oh my gosh, I really have 2 selves. Guess who's looking at who? And then you come back, you're now in one piece. And yet you're not in one piece because you are in 2 pieces integrated into this. So you're really your own holy trinity. And when you're there, you will find, if you've not experienced it before, you will do so in a few minutes, that you can just put the whole crazy world on hold and be integrated in yourself when you're all together. And as you open your eyes again to examine the most critical problem you have to solve at that moment, you'll be in a far better place to make a decision that is good than one that is not good. Good meaning that it has to be good for you and good for the people around you. A singly benefiting decision is never good. Benefiting at the expense of somebody else's misery is never good because there's no balance. Everything has to be in balance. If you think that people can survive the cholera back 100 years ago, hundreds of years ago, and the plague, and it did not wipe out the human race because we're still here. And we have far more resources today to be creative in the way we do things. So when we look at the dangers, we must also look at the opportunities. Think about this. Many people who are in this session with us today will never would have known the opportunity to meet. So when you get to that place of calm, then you open your eyes. But if you have a very difficult problem to solve, I suggest you write down the problem on your 3x5 card, put it on your table. Then you go through this process. When you come back and you're fully integrated, then you look at the problem again. And I promise you, you'll be able to come up with at least 3 possible solutions. And I always suggest 3 possible solutions. I think in my studio somewhere, I had a sign that says this is the studio of harmony. And harmony requires that in any crisis, you come up with 3 solutions. Because out of the 3, you will find one that is the most creative, the most harmonious choice. And you will know what it is because you shut out the monkey chatter. Enough talk, we're going to do. If you're at a place where you can write down a problem you've been struggling with, take out a piece of paper and write it down if you like. I'll give you a couple minutes. And if you've written down something you want to solve that is in the moment of crisis, we are going to look for that creative solution by not looking for it. In the Tao Te Ching, it says that's Wu Wei. Wu Wei means do nothing, and yet nothing is left undone. And this is how to do nothing. And you solve everything. All right, sit back, relax. Find a spot. Eyes still open. Find a spot directly in front of you. I'm looking at my screen. And breathe with me. In to the count of 10, out 10 to 1. Ready now. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold. Exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Second breath. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Third breath, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Close your eyes. Exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now resume normal breathing. Breathe in and out. At your own pace, easily and naturally breathe in and out. And with every breath in, every breath out, find that quiet space. You may be aware of other sounds, but your deep and inner quiet space is starting to grow within you. In and out. In and out. You're beginning to feel more and more relaxed. More and more relaxed. And if you give yourself a moment or two, you find yourself in a very calm, peaceful space within yourself. And now I want you to focus on that space between your belly button and your spine, and that is your lower dantian. And you find that spot of light. Pay attention to what color it is and how big is this ball of light. And whatever size or color, take a deep breath now and turn it into a ball of white light, iridescent, containing every color. And now the ball expands, bigger and bigger, brighter and brighter, until it fills your entire body. And it feels good and calm and peaceful. There is nothing to do but just enjoy the tingling sensation and how good it feels. And now take a deep breath. I want you to take yourself, your bright consciousness out of your body. 1, 2, and 3. And you're now 3 feet in front of yourself. You may turn around and look at yourself if you like, or use the eyes in the back of your head and look at yourself. Notice what a wonderful person you are. Perfect in every way. And you look at yourself and you're now witnessing that you have a spiritual body and you have a physical body. And notice that you may have parts of your physical body that may be holding fears and unpleasant emotions. Make a choice now. Do you want to keep them? If you don't, I want you to send this light from your light body into your physical body and balance your body. Fill all those dark spaces with light. And say to yourself, self, I love you. It's so nice to get to meet you finally. And notice how good it feels. Now take a deep breath and come back into your body. It feels different from the time before because now the light is even brighter. And you feel your spiritual body and your physical body merging. And you become more and more at peace with yourself. More and more at peace with yourself. And you say to yourself, I love yourself. I embrace you. And thank you for embodying me. Feel that integration of your spiritual self and your physical self. And you feel more and more at peace. More and more at peace. And you say to yourself, whatever dangers out there may be, you and I can work it together harmoniously and creatively. Take a deep breath and you feel yourself totally integrated. And now imagine a ray of light from above flushing through the top of your head. And let this light pervade your entire consciousness. And you say to yourself, I know I am loved. I know God loves me. I know I love me. And I know I love people around me, even if I don't like them. I love because I can, because I want to, and because I choose to. If they like me, that's fine. If they don't like me, I can accept that. But I choose to love. And I choose to forgive those who've hurt me. And I want them to forgive me if I may have hurt them with or without my knowledge. Take a deep breath and feel this divine light go through your whole body, pushing out all negativity. And know that you are now at peace with yourself. And you are creative. And you can deal with whatever emerges and presents in front of you. Take a deep breath. Say, I accept. Feel this peaceful sensation. And put a smile on your face because this feels so good. And this is your sacred space. Remember the color or sound or texture, however way you want to feel this space. Take a deep breath. Slowly, easily, and gently, I bring your consciousness back to the present space. I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I get to the third number, gently open your eyes. Take a deep breath and stretch, knowing how good it is to be home with yourself, with your God. And you can deal with whatever presents before you. 1, feeling fully integrated mind, body, and spirit. 2, feel your body. Every part of your body is tingling with love. When I count to 3, gently open your eyes. Take a deep breath and stretch, knowing all is well because you're home. 3, gently open your eyes and stretch. If you'd like to share anything, let me know.
Came to the realization that it's time to raise my feet.
About time.
That was just really nice. I enjoyed that. And it's so calming.
Good. Didn't take very long.
No.
And I think the more you practice, even though it doesn't take me the whole process to get there, I like to do the whole process because it feels good.
Hi, it was really good, Dr. Krita. I mean, thank you for making me a part of this. I really enjoyed it and looking forward to more.
Good. Please, anyone here who would like to be included, please send me an email so I can put you on the list. I don't like to bombard people with stuff, but if you'd like to join, you can either go to my website and send me an email or send me an email, and my neighbors can send me a text. But I need your email to be put on the email list. Is this useful to anyone? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, in my Sunday morning chats, we may not take a full hour, it may be shorter. I would tell a story and then we will do a meditation. So I know I want to include a meditation in every little piece because the more we do it, the better we get at it. And I think it's helpful to anyone. It doesn't matter what religion you subscribe to. You still want to talk to your God.
Will we get on the same way that we did this morning then?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will set up a Zoom meeting, and that's why I need your email. It's a lot easier if I create an email list. I will send you the link by email, and you'll be already at your computer, and you can just log on just like you did this morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's a different URL each time for each meeting. It's a unique thing. It's a long string, so it's easier for me to just copy the invitation and just send it out by email. You don't need to pay me anything. I do ask if you find that you have benefited from this, pay forward, do something nice for someone out there, wherever you are.
Thank you, Kuita. I appreciate all your effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ehsan. So blessings to all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. And I am 2 minutes short of 9 o'clock according to my clock. So this is pretty good timing. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.